calendar for 2025, the Gregorian year. You guys know that we've been struggling with the calendar for many, many years. And last year I posted a couple of videos to show how many calendars there are. And even if we agree on a calendar, there's so many different ways in which to calculate. The starting point for any calendar is the most important. The starting point of a month, the starting point of a year. And unfortunately, in my year that has gone past since last year this time, I've studied a lot of different calendars, but it is overwhelming. And even amongst fellow brothers and sisters who really search for the truth themselves, we found so many different ways in which to establish the beginning of the month. Some people do it with no moon. Some people do it with dark moon. Some people do it with sliver. That's the way we used to do it. And some people do it with full moon. All right. And I still don't have an answer. But what I've found is that most believers who really investigate and want to be serious about the biblical holy day calendar is that our starting point for the year is exactly the same. And then again, there's many ways to establish the beginning of the year. Some people just follow the Jewish calendar. Other people just hope to get a notification on Google that the barley is ripe in Israel. But most Messianic believers really started to understand the spring and the fall equinox. Now, you can do your own research on the equinox. It is basically the beginning of the spring in the northern hemisphere and the beginning of the fall in the northern hemisphere. But even in South Africa, we seem to have the same date for the spring and the fall equinox, which is lovely because I always wondered in the end days when I'm not buying and selling anymore and I don't have a cell phone or Google or Wi-Fi, how will I know? Well, the sun, I believe the moon and the stars has been given to us to watch out for the signs and the seasons, the Moedim. So looking at the sun, looking at its cycles throughout the sky, and then finding the equinox. And the best way to do that is to have a sundial. And when you get to the point where there is no shadow for the whole day on the sundial, that is the equinox. The equinox is the date twice a year when the sun crosses the equator. Now, yes, this works out on a flat earth as well. When day and night are of approximately equal length. All right, this is always plus minus 22 September and 20 March. Now, with my own sundial, I'll be able to watch it this year myself to see if it is indeed 20 March. I am blessed to be part of a very beautiful physical Sabbath group here in the Dolstrom Mountains. And I'm also blessed to be part of the online Sabbath gathering groups with you guys all over the place. And as our group that physically gathers here in Mpumalanga have come to the conclusion that we don't agree with the way in which different people identify the beginning of the month. Therefore, we decided to take that which we agree on, and that is the equinox, it's the beginning of the year, and use that to calculate the calendar for 2025. So if the equinox is going to be 20 March for the spring feasts and 22 September for the fall feasts, let me show you our planned feast days for the whole year. And if anybody would like to come and join us, then you are welcome as always. We will have a physical gathering on our farm, and I will give all the final arrangements closer to each feast for those who are interested. Just a quick and friendly request. I know there's going to be a million questions and there's going to be a million people fighting against this or not agreeing with it. And all I'm saying is, if anybody can find the exact calculations in the Bible and show it to me on how to say when a month starts, whether you don't look at the moon at all, or you look at the dark moon, the sliver, or the full moon, then by all means. And I've watched all the videos, and I promise you, all the videos use the very same verses, and they all try to prove their calendar out of the same verses. So, me and my family, and me and our Sabbath group here in Mpumalanga are going to use the spring equinox to calculate the beginning of the year. There are evidence that people in the past have then worked out 12 months. There's nothing in the Bible about a 13th month. 12 months of 30 equal days to then calculate the months. The specific group has made a strong contest, and as a group we decided whether we agree with their choice not to use the moon at all or not, whether we agree or not, just to see if the equinoxes does work out indeed. And if the 12 months with 30 equal days does work out indeed, we decided to follow it this year. If you lovingly disagree, absolutely, then please keep your holy feast days at the appointed time that you do calculate. Please, I beg you, do not send me any videos or any information. I promise you, I have way more videos than you can ever imagine. While I am going to follow this procedure of calculating the beginning of the year at the equinox and then calculating 12 equal months of 30 days, I am still going to simultaneously work out the Enoch calendar, which uses the sun and the moon. And that is a different calculation where the beginning of the lunation of the moon, which makes sense to me to be the sliver, will then be the beginning of the month. So while I'm following the sun equinox this year with my group, I'm going to see how the Enoch calendar works out as well, because the people that has worked on the Enoch calendar last year, the amount of days between the spring and the fall equinox is supposed to be the exact amount of days between the fall equinox and the next year's spring equinox, and there was a problem. They didn't have the exact same amount of days when at sliver, and then you've got 30 days, and then 31 days, and then 30 days again, 30 days, 31. So it goes 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, every 3 months throughout the year. Because like I said, the friends of mine that has done the Enoch calendar could not get it to work out last year. So I'm going to try it myself simultaneously with the sun equinox calendar. Okay, so here are our dates for 2025. Okay, guys, as promised, here with the dates as calculated. 2025, March. On the 20th of March, the 19th is my birthday. It's very coincidental. I actually had a long discussion with Yehovah about this. Kind of a special day, the day before the equinox anyway. 20th of March is the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. That means the next day is Aviv 1. So Aviv 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 31st, Aviv 11. 12, 13, 14. On the 14th of Aviv is the Passover day. It's not a Sabbath. That evening, the Sabbath starts, the first day of unleavened bread, and we have our Passover meal. On the 15th of Aviv, the 4th of March, we have a Holy Convocation. Then we've got the second day of unleavened bread, third day, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th day of unleavened bread. That is a Holy Convocation again. And that is on the 10th of April. Then the first day after the Sabbath, after the Passover, you've got first fruits. From first fruits, we count 49 days, and then we have Shavuot. So, you can also count 7 Sabbath days, as we see in Leviticus 23. So here's Sabbath 1, 2, 3. May. Sabbath 4, 5, 6, 7. Then the next day, Sunday the 25th of May, is the 50th day, and that is Shavuot. Right, now for the fall equinox in the northern hemisphere. That's on the 22nd of September. So the next day is Tishri 1, Yom Teruah. Tishri 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and Tishri 10, that previous evening of 1 October. The evening of 1 October, Yom Kippur starts. The next day is a Sabbath, Holy Convocation. Then Tishri 11, 12, 13, 14. On the 15th of Tishri, you've got Sukkot, day number 1. it's a holy convocation. For 7 days, you've got Sukkot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on the 8th day, you've got a holy convocation again. So there are all the feast days that we have for 2025. And please have a look at the Excel spreadsheet that I have sent for you as well, so that you can plan and let me know if you will be joining us in the beautiful mountains of Dolstrom. The 1st of Aviv is going to be 20 March for 2025, 2026, 2027. Of course, this is according to Google, but now that I do have a sundial, I will be able to check it out myself to see when the beginning of the year is. 1st Aviv, if it indeed falls on 20 March, and then the 1st of Tishri in the 7th month. That is the fall equinox, if it indeed falls on 22 September. Because then the mark for the spring feast will be 20 March, and the mark for the fall feasts will be 22 September. Right? We still believe that the feast starts at evening. In our group, there are people that starts their feast in the morning at sunrise. We are accommodating them, and we don't fight about whether it's evening or morning. We each try to state our case, but we still come together for our holy convocations. So Passover or Pesach, if the spring equinox is indeed 20 March, then your first day is the next day, 21 March. So Passover will then be calculated from 21 March. You add 14 days, and then you get to the 3rd of April. Unleavened bread starts at the evening of the 3rd of April and ends at the evening of 10 April. The Bible says that is a holy convocation. So we will then on that date have a holy convocation, the 4th of April from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, as well as on the 10th of April from 10 to 2. First fruits will start at the evening of 5 April this year. Pentecost, 49 days later, will start the evening of 24 May. Yom Teruah, if the fall equinox is 22 September, then from 23rd of September, we start calculating the first day of Tishri, and that is, of course, Yom Teruah. So that evening of 22 September will be the start of Yom Teruah. Then we have Atonement starting on the evening of 1st October, and we have Tabernacle starting the evening of 6 October until the evening according to Leviticus 23. Yom Kippur is, according to Leviticus 23, a holy convocation, and on the 2nd of October, we'll have a gathering on the farm. The first day of Tabernacles is a holy convocation, so on the 7th of October, we'll have a gathering. And the 8th day is also a holy convocation. And then we will also again have a gathering on our farm. So here are the gathering days that we will be celebrating for 2025. 4 April, 10 April, 25 May, 2nd of October, 7 October, and 14th of October. Okay, please note the holy convocations or the set-apart gatherings on our farm. It's Farm Dankbaar in Dolstrom. And for those who will be attending, I will send you the pin location. I do have limited accommodation available for friends who's traveling from far. You're welcome to join us the previous evening for celebration and meals. Accommodation on our farm, that is limited, will work on a first-come, first-served basis. But other accommodation in close proximity is also available. But of course, that's for your own account. People staying over with us will not be charged anything. All gatherings are free of charge, but each one will contribute towards the communal meal, except on Yom Kippur, of course, where we're fasting. So please contact me for more information and bookings. Here's my number, 082 89 33826. And I really hope that we would have all been able to agree on the calendar, but we are not there yet. And if the Bible was clear, it would have been easy to find it, and then we would all have been on the same page. We have extra biblical books to help us out. That's why I'm strong on Enoch. But then again, people have shown me in Jubilees where no moon is used. So I'm not in a position to say if anybody is wrong or if anybody is right. But I'm going to take what I know for a fact, and that is that the sun equinox, where the day and the night is of the equal amount of time, is the marker point for the beginning of the year and for the fall feasts. And calculating the Enoch calendar simultaneously, maybe I can see maybe it does work out as Enoch describes. And then next year, I'm going to do the Enoch calendar where I'll be watching the sun and the moon. Well, I'm watching the sun and the moon now anyway, already. And I promise you one thing, the moon is a difficult one. It moves around. One morning it's there, the next morning it's no longer there. Every morning it comes up earlier and it goes down later. And sometimes you don't see it at night at all and it only shines during the day. This moon. I'm still getting to try to follow its paths through our beautiful celestial skies that our God has created for us. Father, I pray that you will bring unity amongst our physical group in Mpumalanga, but also with our online friends that wants to come and visit. And Father, that you will make us all understand, even though we cannot agree on how to work out the calendar yet, that we are all endeavoring to obey your commandments, to come together. We do not want to make a normal day a holy day. We don't want to blaspheme a holy day to make it a normal day. So Father, please help us in this process where we are still learning and still searching and still investigating, up to the point where you release the seal that you've placed on so many prophecies, as you said to Daniel, and you show us all the same truth, and we can all see in your word the same truth, not being dependent on Jew at that time. Be one, united, one in spirit, one in effort, and one in faith. But up to that point, Father, help day by day, month by month, feast by feast. Because all we really have to do at the end of the day is to glorify your name. And we pray that your kingdom will come, and especially that your will be done.
Shine on you like the sun. You will hide under eagles' wings. It is my tent, my talisman.